Edward Bullough was an English aesthetician and scholar of modern languages, who worked at the University of Cambridge. He did experimental work on the perception of colors, and in his theoretical work introduced the concept of psychical distance, that which appears to lie between our own self and its affections, in aesthetic experience. In languages, Bullough was a dedicated teacher who published little. He came to concentrate on Italian, and was elected to the chair of Italian at Cambridge in 1933. Life and work. Early life 2. Psychical distance, 1880–1914. Edward Bullough was born in Thun, Switzerland, on 28 March 1880, to John Bullough and Bertha Schmidlein. As a child, he lived mostly in Germany, and was educated at Witzthum Gymnasium, Dresden. At 17, Bullough moved to England, and in 1899 matriculated from Trinity College in the University of Cambridge, where he studied medieval and modern languages. He graduated Bar in 1902, MA in 1906, after which he taught French and German at Cambridge colleges and lectured in the university. At this time Bullough became interested in aesthetics, and prepared himself to deal with its problems by a study of physiology and general psychology. In 1907 Bullough gave a course of lectures in aesthetics, the first such at Cambridge, privately printed as The Modern Conception of Aesthetics. He repeated the course annually, until shortly before his death. Bullough conducted experimental work on the perception of colors in the Cambridge Psychological Laboratory, the basis for a series of 3 papers in the British Journal of Psychology. The apparent heaviness of colors, the perceptive problem in the aesthetic appreciation of single colors, and the perceptive problem in the aesthetic appreciation of simple color combinations. Bullough also had an interest in parapsychology, and was a member of the Society for Psychical Research. In 1908 Bullough married Enrichetta Angelica Marchetti, with whom he would have a son and a daughter. He was elected to a Drozier Fellowship at Gonville and Caius College in 1912, and in the same year published his noted theoretical paper, Psychical Distance, as a factor in art and an aesthetic principle. Psychical distance is that which, in certain situations, appears to lie between our own self and its affections. Using the latter term in its broadest sense as anything which affects our being. Artistic production and appreciation are 2 such situations. Psychical distance has a negative, inhibitory aspect, the cutting out of the practical sides of things and of our practical attitude to them, and a positive side, the elaboration of the experience on the new basis created by the inhibitory action of distance. The relation between self and object remains a personal one, and Bullough thinks that a concordance between them is necessary for aesthetic appreciation. However, this must not be such that psychical distance is lost. Bullough imagines a jealous husband watching a performance of Othello, who will probably do anything but appreciate the play. This antinomy of distance leads Bullough to say that what is desirable in art, both in appreciation and production, is the utmost decrease of distance without its disappearance. War service to death, 1915–1934. In the First World War, Bullough was recruited as a civilian in the summer of 1915 to the Admiralty's Cryptoanalysis Section, Room 40. He served for 4 years, finally as a lieutenant of the Royal Naval Volunteer Reserve. After the war he returned to Caius, where he had been re-elected to a fellowship in January 1915. He published in the British Journal of Psychology 2 more papers on aesthetic theory, the relation of aesthetics to psychology, and mind and medium in art, and a review of experimental work. In 1920, he was appointed college lecturer in modern languages and university lecturer in German, and he edited the anthology Cambridge Readings in Italian Literature. In 1923 Bullough resigned his university post, wishing to concentrate instead on Italian. The same year, he joined the Roman Catholic Church as a Dominican tertiary, and afterwards was active in the Cambridge University Catholic Association. In the following decade he published translations of Etienne Gilson, Carl Adam, and Achille Ratti, and 3 papers on Dante given at Catholic summer schools in Cambridge and Salzburg. A colleague believed that his work in Italian studies all went into his lectures and teaching. He was appointed university lecturer in Italian in 1926. Bullough was elected to the chair of Italian at Cambridge in March 1933. In his printed inaugural lecture, titled Italian Perspectives, he claims that the Italian perspective is one of continuity of classical with medieval and modern times, so that tradition is treated with the easy familiarity of a family possession. He argues that because the European classical tradition is also, for the Italian, the native tradition, the national inheritance of Italy lies at the same time embedded in the foundations of Europe. In illustration, Bullough proposes Roman law, the Renaissance, and the Romantic movement as 3 contributions made by Italy to the patrimony of the civilized world. He offers the contemporary fascist movement as a tentative 4th, a successor to the chair. Ubertalamentani believed there was no doubt that Bullough sympathized with fascism. After a short illness resulting from an internal operation, Bullough died in a nursing home in Bath on 17 September 1934. He was buried at Woodchester Priory in Stroud. The philosopher Michael Oakeshott, a colleague at Caius, wrote Bullough's obituary for their college record. Bibliography. Note that Bullough's texts and translations of other authors are collected after the chronological presentation. Pre-war 1904. Matter and Form, Modern Language Quarterly 7, No. 110-15, 1905. Bibliographisches zu Schillers Demetrius, Studien zur Bürgerlichen und Literaturgeschichte 5, Ergänzungsschrift, 290-293, 1907. The Apparent Heaviness of Colors, British Journal of Psychology 2, No. 2-111-152, 1908. The Modern Conception of Aesthetics. Privately printed. 1908. The Perceptive Problem in the Aesthetic Appreciation of Single Colors, British Journal of Psychology 2, No. 4-406-463, 1909. As compiler. Bibliography to General Modern Aesthetics. Privately printed. 1910. The Perceptive Problem in the Aesthetic Appreciation of Simple Color Combinations, British Journal of Psychology 3, No. 4-406-447, 1912. Psychical Distance, as a Factor in Art and an Aesthetic Principle, British Journal of Psychology 5, No. 2-87-118, 1913. Ein Beitrag zur genetischen Ästhetik, in Kongress für Ästhetik und Allgemeine Kunstwissenschaft, Berlin 7-9, October 1913. Bericht, 55-72. Stuttgart. Enker, 1914. Post-war 1919. The Relation of Aesthetics to Psychology, British Journal of Psychology 10, No. 143-50, 1920. As compiler. Italy in the 19th century. Chronological tables, with a list of works recommended for study, etc. Cambridge. Cambridge University Press. 1920. As editor. Cambridge Readings in Italian Literature. Cambridge. Cambridge University Press. 1920. The Civil Service and Modern Languages, in Yearbook of Modern Languages. Edited for the Council of the Modern Language Association by Gilbert Waterhouse. 10-24. Cambridge. Cambridge University Press. 1920. Mind and Medium in At, British Journal of Psychology 11, No. 126-46, 1921. Recent Work in Experimental Aesthetics, British Journal of Psychology 12, No. 1-76-99, 1921. The Relation of Literature to History, Modern Languages 2, 37-47. 1925. Dante, the Poet of St. Thomas, in St. Thomas Aquinas, edited by C. Latti, 247–284. Cambridge. W. Heffer. 1928. Broken Bridges, University Catholic Review 2, No. 1–7–11. 1932. Dante al Spettrita des 13 Jahrhunderts. 1932. Dante und die Europäische Kultur. 1933. The Relation of Literature and the Arts, Modern Languages 14. 101–112. 1934. Italian Perspectives. An Inaugural Lecture. Cambridge. Cambridge University Press. Posthumous 1935. Psychical Distance, as a Factor in Art and an Aesthetic Principle, in a Modern Book of Aesthetics. An Anthology, edited by Melvin M. Rader, 87–118. New York. Henry Holt. 1957. Aesthetics. Lectures and Essays. Edited by Elizabeth M. Wilkinson. London. Bose and Bose. 1969. Psychical Distance, as a Factor in Art and as an Aesthetic Principle, in Philosophy of Art and Aesthetics. From Plato to Wittgenstein. Edited by Frank A. Tillman and Stephen M. Can. 397–414. New York. Harper and Row. 1977. Psychical Distance, as a Factor in Art and an Aesthetic Principle, in Aesthetics. A Critical Anthology, edited by George Dickey and R. J. Sclafani, 758–782. Boston, Massachusetts. St. Martin's. 1995. Psychical Distance, in the Philosophy of Art. Readings Ancient and Modern, edited by Alex Neal and Aaron Ridley, 297–311. Boston, Massachusetts. McGraw-Hill. 1997. La distanza psichica cum fattore artistico e principio estetico. Edited by Giuliano Compagna. Palermo. Centro Internazionale Studio di Estetica, 1997. 2008. Psychical Distance, as a Factor in Art and an Aesthetic Principle, in Aesthetics. A Comprehensive Anthology, edited by Stephen M. Can and Aaron Meskin, 243–260. Malden, Mass. Blackwell Publishing. Texts and Translations of Other Authors 1916. Tolstoy, Leo. Sevastopol. Edited by A. P. Godey and Edward Bullough. Cambridge. Cambridge University Press. 1924. Gilson, Etienne. The Philosophy of St. Thomas Aquinas. Edited by G. A. Elrington. Translated by Edward Bullough. Cambridge. W. Heffer. 1930. Adam, Carl. Two Essays. Translated by Edward Bullough. London. Sheed and Ward. 1934. Pius XI. Achille Ratti. Essays in History. Translated by Edward Bullough. London. Burns, Oates and Washburn. 1945. Bellingshausen. The Voyage of Captain Bellingshausen to the Antarctic Seas, 1819–1821. Edited by Frank Debenham. Translated by Edward Bullough. London. Hacklight Society.